All right. Okay, I think I'm on here now. I don't know if there's anybody else on here, but just got done watching the State of the Union, and okay, here we go. All right, we got people on here. Hi, Nateflix. Hi, Illuminate Studios. Let me take off my headphones here. All right, so I am curious as to what you guys thought about the State of the Union. I was really impressed. Actually, my first impression is that this was a really smart State of the Union. President Trump, throughout at least the first half, and at some points during the middle, Hayden H., research flat earth, aka biblical cosmology. I'm not 100% sure that the Bible does suggest that the earth was flat, but thanks for the comment. Tim Ench thought it was great. I thought it was great too. Illuminate Studios says, specifically designed to make Democrats stand as much as possible. I know. Well, that's what I was going to say. Thank you, Elizabeth Waters. He absolutely did nail it. I was going to try to wait for a little bit of the commentary so I could see what the people at Fox and the people at CNN thought before I gave my comments, but he spoke for so long that I had to go straight into the live stream right afterwards. He was so smart. He was so smart about what he, throughout this speech, he targeted all of the stuff that he thought was going to be good for Democrats, and who said this up here? Specifically designed. Illuminate Studios said it best. Specifically designed to make Democrats stand as much as possible. I mean, he was basically telling Americans, look, I'm not against every single idea that the left has. There are some ideas that I'm good with that I want to push. Also, let's get some of the stuff you guys like. He's throwing them some candy so that he can say, look, work with me here. And I thought it was brilliant, and then he pushed a lot of the more hard right ideas. But there were those women all in white, right? I looked up what that was, and they were trying to dress in the colors of the suffragettes, right? That was their idea. The colors of the suffragettes. They were basically like, we're feminists, we're for women's suffrage, even though it's not like any woman doesn't have the vote now. But basically, the idea was like, we're for women, we're for women. So then, when Trump started talking about how women were doing well under the new Trump economy, they actually stood up and they cheered. And to me, that was the best moment of the night, because Trump looks over at these guys and he goes, "You weren't supposed to do that." I mean, that was a classic Trump line, and it was really appropriate. It was really funny. Okay, let's see what some of you guys have to say. Even Ocasio eventually, what would you write? Let's see. Even Ocasio eventually had to clap. Yeah, exactly. I mean, she was the worst. I mean, you got some, and I saw some Christine Gillibrand. I think it was Christine Gillibrand. She was, I caught an eye roll of hers, like, ugh. But for the most part, yeah, a lot of these ladies were just like, I will not stand, I will not clap, nothing. In fact, I actually thought that the Democrats, pretty much on the whole, were not going to show any kind of positivity toward anything the president said. But it was like almost half the time they were clapping. I mean, it was great. My girlfriend has ordered a rug to be delivered here whilst I'm doing this, so it is possible I'll have to go to the door and grab the rug from the delivery guy. But aside from that, we're good. Gene Shaw says, "Hey, Mr. Reagan, hello." It's in orange, so it stood out. Hey, Isaiah Petrie gave me $10. Thanks, man. He says, "So, what are you going to do? Make videos on YouTube, or actually try to change it because you, out of a lot of YouTubers, have a real voice that people want to hear?" Hold on, I'm not getting this whole thing here. For some reason. I don't want to hear from someone, ... I didn't get the rest of that message, I don't think. But anyway, I don't understand what you mean, am I going to try to change it? Am I going to try to change what? Like am I going to run for office, you mean? It's possible that eventually one day I would run for office, but that's not really a plan that I have. I suppose that option is open. I actually think that YouTubers and people who host shows like this actually do change the political landscape sometimes more than politicians. I mean, I think Trump has made enormous changes to our society. But then also Jordan Peterson. I mean, Jordan Peterson is a perfect example of somebody who has been, possibly as instrumental in changing the perspective of Americans as like Donald Trump has. I think Donald Trump probably had more of an impact, but definitely Peterson has had a huge impact. Isaiah again says, wait, yes, hold up. I don't know how to respond to that, man. Thanks, though. Gene Shaw, give me $24. Thanks, Gene. Thanks, Gene. But no message, so I can't respond to your message. All right, let's see here. American Paisa says, Pocahontas stared all night. Chucky has a smug look on his face, and Skeletor looked uncomfortable. What was the deal? Okay, Skeletor, he's talking about Nancy Pelosi. What was the deal with Nancy Pelosi and the papers? She kept looking at these papers the whole time. Not the whole time, but a lot of it. You could see like marker on one side. It showed some kind of graph or something. I just like, here's a question, Pelosi. Could you be a little bit more disrespectful? That would be great, because I don't think you're showing quite enough disrespect here to the president in his speech. Nesna says, does your girlfriend have a friend? You know how she's in Cali. Better time spent doing self-improvement than pickup. What's funny is, yeah, that situation with the rug is annoying. I do have friends, but for some reason I haven't been able to get them to pick up this rug, so we just hired somebody. She's actually doing self-improvement. My girlfriend right now actually is at a class. She's actually taking English lessons to improve her English. She speaks perfect English, but she thinks, everybody who isn't a natural-born citizen doesn't speak English perfectly. They always think that they're terrible. So she's trying to improve herself. Let's see here. Yeah, Nancy Pelosi. What a piece of work she is. And I did think that what's his name? Chuck Schumer looked kind of evil. Like, even when he was happy, when he was smiling at things that Trump was saying, he was like, clapping along. It was, it was pretty funny. Let's see. Nesna called it, Bo Stoker says. All right, so let's see. Pelosi was trying desperately not to pay attention and be disrespectful, says DM Caden's Castle. Janet Young says Schumer looked like a nasty gremlin. Didn't he, though? It was bizarre. I don't know if that guy just looks like that and it's really unfortunate, or if he's trying to look contemptible. I don't really understand it. Victoria Brown says, and Pelosi was still standing long after everybody sat down, like she was totally out of it. The papers were given to her by President Trump. Copy the State of the Union, ? Yeah, is that true? Did somebody see him pass her the papers? I don't know what... I don't know how she got the papers or what that was, but, you could have just kept them down. It's possible she didn't realize that holding them up created this big white, kind of reflective spot, in the camera. Let's see here. Oh, my gosh. You guys are writing so quick, I can't read anything. Grant Heckle writes, Bernie Sanders can be the new chief of the White House custodial staff. I like that idea. Hold on. Who was that? All right. Let's see here. Twisted Wrench says Pelosi was dictating what the Democrats would stand and applaud for. I think that's typically true, right? They take their cues from whoever's back there. And in this case, but I do think, I did see some people standing kind of independently. And a lot of people obviously did not ever stand. But yeah. Chuck Schumer equals the Joker, says Dwayne Longafor. True. The Jimmy Jam 2050 DeBoard says Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi both have Kuru, which I don't understand what that means, but okay. Fog Factory says speed chat. True. This is speed chat. Provoked writes, it was her coloring book. She was getting out her coloring book. I like that. That's pretty funny. All right, let's see here. What else we got? Oh, yeah, that's true. Staten Drake writes, no standing for saving babies. I know, it's crazy. Planet Mars says, First Lady looked outstanding. She absolutely did. She always looks outstanding. Joseph Stefan writes, Schumer looks like he has a pre-existing condition. Yeah, come on, Schumer. Trump's helping you out here. There's a lot of funny messages here. I was kind of waiting for, trying to read some more sort of like intellectual perspectives on what happened with the State of the Union, but we'll try to get into that. Oh, they've got Stacey Abrams on. She's giving the response. Let's see if we can hear that. The hype. Remember his name, Mr. Reagan. You found your channel. I just found your channel and love everything that you have to say. Somebody needs to silence the view. I know, that's so true. Thank you, the hype. Okay. Stacey Abrams is currently presenting a story, right? An anecdote about people waiting in line because of the shutdown, right? This is, oh, Trump's so horrible. He's so evil. This woman, oh my gosh. Why did they pick her? And that camera angle is not flattering. Look, I'm not saying you always need like a strikingly beautiful woman or a dashingly handsome man to give your address, but they could have picked a different camera angle. Come on, guys. I turn her off. Yeah, no, I'm actually a proponent of listening to the left. I think everybody should listen to her so that we know, how stupid she actually is. But a lot of what she's going to say tonight, I think, probably is going to be like this. It's going to be a lot of emotional stuff, right? Be outraged. Be outraged at Trump. Matt Johnson writes, "Who are you?" "I'm Mr. Reagan." Janet Young writes, "She's the victim, don't you know?" Yeah, well, she's going to present herself that way for sure. I'm so glad this worked because I have never used this setup before where I've got my camera hooked into the computer, so this is nice. Let's see here. Why did they get a response? Did we get a response after Obama's State of the Union? Asks Nation 23450. Yes, there's always a response from the opposition party, whatever the opposition party is to the president. Howdy from Tennessee. Hi, Katya Golden. Nice to meet you. Let's see here. Nishnob74 writes, USA, USA, USA. Yeah, I did find myself chanting along to the TV occasionally. Just like, what am I doing? I'm alone in my apartment. Total Recast writes, the Super Bowl halftime performance sucks. Total Recast is my best friend Kurt Franklin out in Hawaii. Hey, Kurt, how you doing, buddy? I actually heard the entire Super Bowl sucked. I don't actually watch football or really any sports, which I suppose makes me a beta male. But I don't like football, so I can't comment on it. Yeah, but that was pretty funny the other day. Everybody was just like, why? This game is the worst. Nick Spencer writes, louder with Crowder, question mark. I don't really know what that question is, but I do love Louder with Crowder. I think that guy is awesome. Let's see. Nence writes, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is a capitalist. Demands for socialism is high. I don't quite understand that comment. I mean, AOC, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, claims to be a socialist, but she's just a very naive person, right? She has what I call, a lot of people hate me when I say this, but stoner political philosophy, right? It's this sort of stoner idealism that a lot of my friends that I've met throughout my life that are stoners believe in, that are just like, they believe a lot of conspiracy theories, and they're very socialist. And not every stoner thinks that way, obviously. A lot of people who smoke weed got really mad at me for saying that. I don't think everybody that smokes weed is a strong leftist. Obviously not. But I don't like marijuana, and the people that I know who have deeply held philosophical beliefs and are strong stoners tend to have the same philosophy as Alexandria. What's with the women in white? Wrote Angie Campow. That was to show solidarity for like feminism. I guess white was the color of the suffragettes, right? It was a stupid, thing. The Hype wrote, what are your thoughts on Trump 2020? I'm not as confident as most of the people that I know. Most of the people that I know that are strong right-wing people like myself are 100% convinced that Trump is absolutely going to crush. He's going to just absolutely dominate the election. I'm not so sure. I do think that the left is very strongly hateful of Trump, and I think that they're going to come out in force. So it's going to be difficult. But I do believe in Trump. I think he'll win. Fury of Titans gave me £1. I love that. I love Britain. Yay, Brexit. They call it dope for a reason, right? Jesus is gone. Thank you. I agree. I think it actually does change your brain chemistry, and I think it's bad for you. John Lelane writes, Trump fired back with a cannon. Toxic feminists and white didn't stand a chance. I 100% agree, John Lelane. John Lelane, by the way, guys, is the son of the legend Jack LaLanne. And if you don't know who Jack LaLanne is, you should look him up on YouTube. He is flippin' awesome. I've written John. John and I have talked privately before. Awesome guy, awesome guy. He lives in Hawaii with my buddy Kurt. I mean, they don't live together, but they both live in Hawaii. Thomas B. writes, great State of the Union speech. Found myself standing up and cheering when Trump was smacking socialism and abortion. I, too. I was actually really surprised at how strong of a stance he took against abortion, and I was really impressed. And the anti-socialism stuff was beautiful. They did get a shot of Bernie Sanders going like this, but they didn't get a shot of Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, which I thought was a bit of a shame. AJ writes, white is also the color of as Klan robes. Yes, that was the Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez gang's particular Ku Klux Klan group, I think, probably. Let's see. Canada needs a Trump. I agree, nice schnob. I don't know why I keep grabbing your comments out somehow. Let's see here. Everybody's digging the KKK thing. Bernie Sanders was in a coma, writes Lynn Carroll. Hey, Lynn. Yeah, he was not digging this particular speech. Let's see here. FV Pretty in Ink writes, Bernie looked like he had to give up one of his mansions. Yeah, exactly. Lindsay Joe Martinez thinks that they looked horrible in white. Yeah, actually, I checked up, when I was checking up on it, a lot of people were saying that Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez was so cool because she was wearing like a cape. It's like, she's wearing a cape like a superhero. You know who also wears capes? Super villains. All right, let's see here. $4.99. Did you notice Speaker Pelosi talking to herself during SO2? I noticed her reading some kind of papers. I didn't notice her talking to herself. There was occasionally, I did see her once. Trump had done something or said something about, Trump had said, if I were not president, we would probably be at war with North Korea. And when he said, if I were not elected president, before he could actually even say what he was going to say, she just goes, she was kind of mouthing like, this is BS. Or, I couldn't quite tell what she was saying, but her mouth was moving a little bit, like she couldn't hold back, like she wanted to be like, no, you should never have been elected president, Hello from Phoenix, Arizona. Hello, Ronna Church. Nice to see you. Lynn Carroll writes, she was talking to herself, exclamation mark. I'll take her word for that. Creative Films writes, Nancy's dentures were bothering her. She did have a little bit of a Mr. Ed thing going on. Jordan Daniels writes, hey man, keep up the good work. Thank you, Jordan. You're a cool dude. Scarlet Magic writes, that's her speech. Probably she's gross. I don't know what that means. All right, The Hype writes, I agree with you. I would love to see him reelected, but with our world becoming more and more liberal, it would be difficult. Nancy equals to Satan. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It's just like, it's always hard to find, all I didn't really listen to the rebuttal from the left, but I'll watch it later, and maybe I'll make a video about it. In fact, I probably will watch it and do a video about it. It will be hard for him to get elected, and I don't really think it's because the country's getting becoming more leftist. I think it's because stupid people, I shouldn't say stupid, but both stupid and uneducated people, and uneducated doesn't always mean stupid, they're always going to be more malleable than educated people, right? And there are always going to be more of them than educated people. And, you know, if you've got enough stupid and uneducated people in the country, and there's a ton of them, you know, if your marketing is really good, you're going to get them to vote for you. And I just think that the leftist branding is better than right-wing branding. I think that they're better at marketing themselves than we are. And I think that's a huge problem. Trump has done a lot to fix that, but not enough, I don't think. Rational Muscle says, glad to see your channel's getting great live traction, man. Did you notice the hags in white only clapped for themselves? How no one noticed on the left? It's mind-boggling. P.S. Your girlfriend is hot. Thank you, Rational Muscle. $20. That's a lot. Thanks so much, man. Yes, my girlfriend is very hot. Yeah, she was actually looking the other night to see what people had to say about her on the comments, and she would get hung up on the ones that were like quasi-negative. She'd be all upset about it. It's kind of funny. Yeah, if it was a feminist thing, there was like a whole series of feminist things that Trump said, like women have accomplished, you know, made these great strides, which I actually think I think of all those things as problems. You know, I think of all those things as problems because we really shouldn't be taking one group out of the population and trying to elevate them above everybody else. To me, that's a problem because you will only end up getting inferior products and services if you give people a favor simply because of an immutable characteristic, right? Okay, these people are black, so they're going to be better at this, so we're only going to hire black people. That doesn't make sense, right? You need to hire the best out of everybody. You need to hire the best, right? So the best people are men. You bring in men. You know, you should never have like an overwhelming advantage for one group or another simply because of the immutable characteristic. If that group happens to be better, okay, but not because of they're a man or they're a woman or they're white or whatever. Matthew Barton writes, Gillette. I assume he wants me to say it in my hilarious voice, so I'll give it to you here. Gillette! I'll just do that from time to time throughout the video. Gillette! Mr. Reagan, do you think we're headed for a civil war? Conservative Viking, $10. Thanks, man. You know what? It's kind of weird. By your name, Conservative Viking, I assume that you're one of the people who are either involved with or know people who are involved with these militias that are popping up all over the country. Yeah, you know, I hear about this a lot from strong conservatives. They're like, you know, I'm in a militia or I know people in a militia. Like, it's getting so crazy left that we're going to have a civil war. I don't actually think so because I can't think of a reason why an actual physically violent war would actually help us progress as a nation. I don't see that happening. If the country became so oppressive by the left that we actually had to get those people out of office through the force of violence, I suppose that would actually happen. But I don't see that happening in the next, you know, 5, 10, 20 years. I just don't see it happening. And I really don't want it to happen. I mean, I don't think that the left is quite that crazy. I think that people see the far left people and they think that those people are eventually going to become like Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer, and they're going to be in those positions of power, or they'll be president, and then we'll be really screwed. I don't think the United States will ever bring into the presidency people that are that crazy. I don't think. I hope not. Debbie Bailey. Thank you, Mr. Reagan. I enjoy your videos so much. Keep it up. Thank you, Debbie. I enjoy your comments so much. I'm always like super flattered when people like my stuff. Okay, here we go. Total Recast. My best friend from Florida, Kurt Franklin, which everybody should watch his channel, Total Recast. It's pretty funny stuff. It's not political, but it's about movies, but it's great. Trump was elected the left is the minority. Well, in terms of sheer numbers, I think the left is the majority just because there's so many people that they just don't know anything about politics, and they hear the left is good, the right is bad, and then they say, well, I'm a good guy, I'm going to vote for leftists, but they really don't know anything about politics, so they don't realize the right is the good guys. Let's see. A lot of people are mentioning that the women that were all dressed in all white to show solidarity for feminism and the suffragettes all look like the KKK. Jody Snedeker writes, I love the KKK dresses, very nice. Let's see here. Fury of Titans sent me £5 and writes, 5 more. Hope we will get our Trump version elected. Greetings from Spain. I should not be awake by now, but reasons. Senior Gillette video, LOL. Yeah, that Gillette video really did a lot of helped out my channel quite a bit. I didn't know that there was a Trump over there in the UK. Or are you from Spain? I guess you're from Spain. I don't know why you're... Oh, those are euros. Sorry, I didn't realize. Oh, right. Yeah. Oh, I love Spain. One of my best friends lives in... he used to live in Madrid, but he's in Ireland right now. But he grew up there. And I've always wanted to visit, but I've never got out there. If I do, we'll go get a cup of coffee. That's Jean Nenth. No, sorry. No, that's... Oh, crap. Oh, my gosh. I get a whole bunch of stuff here. That's Fury of Titans. Okay, Fury of Titans. When I go to Spain, I'll let you know. Sean McDonald, $2. He writes, he needs the wall in some form to get reelected. I 100% agree with that. I really think we need to get the wall up. I don't know why he's just not using the military funds or calling a state of emergency. I think that's a very good way to go. Jean Nenth writes, the last time that many Democrats wore white in one place, they was lynching folks. Now they're lynching babies. Shake my head. Yeah, it's true. It's sad, but true. Let's see. Robert Galley, $20. He writes, thank you, Mr. Reagan, for your cogent videos, you and Mark Dice. Yeah, Mark Dice, I haven't actually seen any of Mark Dice videos. Everybody keeps mentioning him, so I got to check that out now. It takes so much time to do these that I don't get to watch as much stuff as I would like. Okay, 50 Ducks in a Hot Tub writes, love your channel, but I hate to break the news to you. Trump isn't in charge. No POTUS has ever been in charge. I've been following politics for 40 years and nothing ever changes. Well, yeah, there is the sort of deep state, right, the swamp that we're trying to drain, and they do pull a lot of strings, so we definitely need to fix that. DM Cadence Castle writes, we will be in civil war within 5 years. Pelosi will indeed press the stupidity of murdering the unborn. Make no mistake. Yeah, the abortion thing is pretty rough. It's getting a little bit crazy out there. Pelosi. Yeah, I don't think there's going to be a civil war. I don't think there will be, but I do know that's out there definitely. Orlando Art writes, Russia's with you. I grew up with socialism. It was terrible. So sad to see that U.S. politics don't know what they're proposing. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. I think this is why people say you need to know your past to know where you should go in the future, right? If you don't know anything about how horrible socialism is, you won't know why we need to fight against it. You're 100% right, Orlando Art. My girlfriend's Russian. I've dated a lot of Russian girls, actually, including girls from Ukraine and other places. And a lot of the younger ones, the really young ones, like my girlfriend, they don't actually really know how terrible socialism was, but they all have relatives who were kind of screwed over at some point. So Russians really know. Anybody who actually lived under communism knows how bad it is. L1223 writes, why do you think there's so much animosity toward whites from the left, especially white men? Still confused by that. So the way I look at it is the left is a patchwork of special interests. So their interests lie in saying, we're going to give these groups candy. That candy might be in the form of legislation. That form might be in the candy might be in the form of actual money for special groups or some kind of welfare or something like that. And so they say, black people, we're going to give black people all this positive legislation. We're going to help bring your community up. Women, we're going to help bring your community up. LGBT, we're going to help bring your community up. Environmentalists, we're going to save the whales, right? So they keep giving these special interests candy. That's how the left operates. The only group that is left out from all that, if you say, okay, so we're for women, so we're against men. We're for black people, so we're against white people. We're for LGBT, so we're against, Christians or whatever. And so you end up with this specific group, straight white Christian men, who become the ultimate enemy of the left. And then they progress that narrative all the time. See, Proud Patriot says, Mr. Reagan, should we line the Dems up and open fire? No, I actually think that just communicating with people, especially on a forum like this, or if you could actually have a debate with somebody and you can show that their ideas are wrong, that's the best way to do it. Just prove to people, just show people how wrong everybody is. Depresso Coffee. Depresso Coffee, which is a great name, by the way, writes, Trump stood there equals standing is racist. Plus, a few of the Republicans were smirking, and Trump as well on occasion. Smirking is racist. Great work. That is funny. It's fun. I kind of forget sometimes the stuff that I put out there. I mean, obviously, I remember the Gillette commercial, but yeah, the second one. So there's 2 Gillette commercials. If you haven't seen the second one, click off now. Watch the second Gillette commercial. I think it's even better than the first one. But I specifically did a parody about the Covington school kids and how they got harassed so relentlessly, and then the left was like, oh, you guys, you white boys with the MAGA hats, you're all racist, and obviously that reporter asked the kid, like, don't you see how it could be perceived as aggressive just by standing there, or something like that, standing there as aggressive. Ugh. It's bizarre what people will do to try to make their case. Hold on, I'm trying to look for some of these. Okay, so Sean McDonald writes, what's your opinion of the soft session? States ignoring federal laws when they go too far. I actually don't know what that is, Sean. I'd have to see what you're talking about specifically. But there is the only thing I can think about with states ignoring federal laws, I don't like. Okay. I think I see what you're saying. Should states ignore laws, federal laws, if the federal laws go too far, in certain ways? I don't actually agree with that, but this has always been the question: should we make more laws, federal laws, or should we keep the laws in the states? And it's a tough question. I mean, it's an interesting idea. Like, abortion was always, I think, a state thing until they had Roe versus Wade, and people would like make trips to have abortions and stuff like that. And then the same thing with gay marriage, right? People would have to go to certain states to get married if they were gay. I don't think that's like too much of a sacrifice for people. I like state control of stuff because if you don't like your state, you can move to another state. The more federalized everything becomes, the more I guess there's a word for this, I can't remember it right now, but the more the same everything becomes, and you can't escape a place if you don't like it. You can't go to a place that you like better, and I think that's a problem. Serious Sydney writes, Mr. Reagan, when you look at Stacey Abrams' response video, she's in front of a green screen. Fake response. Even her background is fake. I didn't hear much of the response. I think what I'll do is I'll actually do a full video on the Stacey Abrams response because I didn't watch it, so I'm going to have to watch it back and go through in detail and watch it. I would like to watch the whole thing in detail because I think it's more important for me to analyze what the left is saying than to analyze what Trump is saying. Because for the most part, I agreed with everything Trump said. Even with the leftist stuff, I say give him a little bit of candy if it's going to get our bigger issues pushed through. This abortion thing is crazy, like what they're doing in New York. I mean, it's nuts. And then the wall is such a great thing. It's just so stupid that they won't do it just because it's his thing. Janet Young writes, I heard someone compare millennial stupidity of socialism like their stupidity for falling for the Fire Island scam. Perfect. Yeah, actually, that's a good point. People get excited about stuff. They want to be a part of stuff. People want to feel like they're included. They used to have this term called joiners, people who would join a lot of clubs and stuff like that. People don't join clubs as much anymore, but I think they join movements. They get on Facebook and they're like, yeah, I'm just like you. I'm just with you. The hype writes, You should bring on a Democrat and debate them. We'd love it. I have been trying to get a friend of mine. He's like I think he might be vaguely religious, but he's gay, and he's an actor out here in Hollywood. Not like a hugely successful actor. He does background acting, but he's a really cool guy. He's a really good friend of mine, and he's got really, really strong, hard left ideas. And I've been trying to get him on for ages, and he keeps promising he's going to, but he's a kind of a busy guy, and he hasn't been able to come on. So maybe I'll go after somebody else. But I'm definitely going to start bringing some leftists on and debating them. Beth Bob writes, tribe mentality, 100%. Lynn Carroll writes, Kamala Harris's rude facial expressions irritated me. I actually didn't see any shots of her. I wasn't always watching the TV. Sometimes I was just listening. But yeah, I can imagine. Brian Elliott writes, what do you think of Trump taking a shot at Mueller and his investigation? You know, of course he's not going to like the investigation. I mean, it's just been super negative against him the whole time. And I do think of it as a witch hunt. You know, he did say something like, at the very beginning of the speech, he said something like, you know, we've got to come together. Both parties have to come together. And we can't be like, you know, setting up these like ridiculous investigations to try to like undermine the other person. That doesn't help anything. And he's 100% right. I mean, whether or not you agree with him, that is right. Whether or not you agree with him on politics, I meant. Proud Patriot says, pick one. Moab to next DNC, multiple assassinations. Question mark. Pick one. Moab to next DNC. I don't know what that means. I actually don't know what that means. I'm sorry. I have no idea what that means. Not an NPC writes, just wanted to say that I enjoy your content. Thank you, sir. I enjoy your comments. Steve Reyna says, she won't make it far, man, Kamala Harris. Well, I know. I mean, the thing about Kamala Harris is that she basically slept with a guy in order to get into politics, to become successful in politics in her early days. There's this guy, he was the mayor of San Francisco. I forget his name. But he was sort of like the city boss. So there's this thing that they used to do with the Democrats. I think they still try to do it, where you get these guys that are the city boss, right? It's the mayor of whatever, the mayor of Chicago or the mayor of Washington, D.C. And these guys would essentially decide which businesses would get government contracts, and they would take kickbacks and they would take bribes. And these city bosses, they were essentially like mob bosses, but they were the mayors of cities. This guy was the city mayor of San Francisco, and he would essentially pick who was in politics and stuff like that. And Kamala Harris was his girlfriend when she was 30 and he was 60 or something like that. And he got her a bunch of jobs that were very high-paying jobs. So she was essentially a prostitute in her early days. I don't know how she's going to become president. Fury of Titans just gave me another euro. Thank you so much. Let's see. Total Recast says, a straight mayor of San Francisco? Fake news. Willie Brown, that's his name. Yes. Thank you. Maria Lisa Rodriguez. Willie Brown. Yep, that's his name. And everybody wrote it. G. Cole wrote it. Val NWO wrote it. Yes. Yeah, you guys know. Susan Caroline, thank you. Deplorable Unis writes, socialism is for stupid, lazy sheep. Agree. AJ writes, Piss Dossier was originally written back in April 17, 2007, entitled How Lobbyists Helped Ex-Soviets Woo Washington by Glenn Simpson in the Wall Street Journal, and it was recycled to be used against Trump. Is that right? I didn't actually know about that, but I do know about like the Christopher Steele stuff, and you know, there was a lot of stuff in that dossier that was compiled specifically about Trump that was unbelievably, you know, just stupid stuff, that just rumors that they got from people in Russia. Eric Dobkin writes, Gillette, I assume you want me to do that again? All right, I can. Gillette! All right, let's see here. All right. It's an article that he wrote, says Ikas 80. Roy Woodman writes, Kamala is a powerhouse. She's a sharp lawyer. Did you see her on committee questioning Kavanaugh? She's dangerous. She does speak very, very well, and she composes herself with a kind of authority that is definitely going to get a lot of people excited about her. But I think because of her past, there's no way she can get elected. Total Recast writes, Victoria Brown, and then thumbs up, which I assume is somebody who posted something else earlier. But I'll go with that since Kurt's my buddy. Domain Williams writes, what is the child... Oh, shoot, I lost it. What is the child care tax thing Trump says he doubled? Child care tax. I don't remember. I remember he said something about that. I do remember him talking about it, but I don't... That was part of something else, I think. I don't remember. Let's see here. Proud Patriot writes, why would Hillary want to sit at the desk Monica Lewinsky was under? That should have been a campaign poster, man. You need to put that on a t-shirt. Okay. Tech and Stuff writes, how do you feel about Coconut Shell Cortez? I actually did an entire video about... I assume you're talking about Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. I did a whole video about her. I mean, I think she's a well-intentioned, ignorant young girl who is pretty enough and well-spoken enough that the people of her district thought that she would make a good congresswoman. I don't know, whatever. Let's see here. Benny Lindo writes, social issues, birthright citizenship, favorite movies, question mark. Wow, that's a lot of things. Okay, so birthright citizenship. I don't like encouraging illegal immigration in any way whatsoever, and I actually am for deporting people if you find out that they are illegally here in the country. I think they should be deported. That's it. I don't understand why people are against that. They just don't want these sort of like Nazi Gestapo type scenes where guys in like, in like military garb are coming in with like M16s and like bashing people over the heads and dragging them across the border and stuff like that. I don't think that would happen. I do think we need to crack down on illegal immigration. I don't think we should encourage people coming over. I don't get why that's even controversial. My favorite movies, well, Superman was my favorite movie when I was a kid, and I'm gonna sort of keep that. That's always gonna be in there. I like the classics from the 80s that I grew up with, the Indiana Jones films, Back to the Future, Star Wars, that stuff. But I actually love films from the old days. Actually, the Thin Man movies are some of my all-time favorites. And then when I got a little older, the 90s, there was stuff like Rob Roy, which I think is a really underrated film. But I like a lot of old cinema from the 30s and 40s. If you haven't seen the Thin Man movies and you want to get into old cinema and you think most old cinema is boring, watch the Thin Man movies. They're really funny and really charming. Let's see here. 420 iCoins writes, Gillette, the best a woman can get. My damn girlfriend keeps stealing my Mach 3! Exclamation mark. Yeah, I put a line in one of the satire videos. Oh, it was, I think, something like, Gillette is the razor for men who want to shave their vaginas, or something like that. I thought that was kind of funny. Let's see here. Retard Alert writes, do you gent? I don't know what that means. Victoria Brown writes, Ben Shapiro talks too fast on his radio show. I can't drink a cup of coffee to keep up with him. You are perfection! Exclamation mark. Yeah, Ben Shapiro does talk fast. I actually like what he says. There is a tendency to speak quickly when you're doing these videos, and I think that there is... it's better to speak quickly than to speak slowly, because if you speak slowly, people get bored and they tune out. The reason that I don't watch Ben Shapiro is simply that... he's really nasty about Trump all the time. He ridicules Trump every single day on his show, and it annoys the hell out of me. And his voice is a little bit annoying. But I like Ben Shapiro for the most part. I know a lot of you guys don't like Ben Shapiro, but... have you seen Get Me Roger Stone? Asks Tell All Productions. I have seen Get Me Roger Stone, and I actually liked it. I didn't think that it was... I mean, obviously, they tried to make it as unfair and negative against Roger Stone as possible, but... I actually thought that it was a pretty fair film, and I learned a lot about Roger Stone. And I don't really like Roger Stone, but I don't think he should be, have been arrested. I think that's, they're just trying to torture people they're trying to exploit anyone who knows Trump so that they can get the goods on Trump. That's what they're trying to do. Phoebe Long agrees with me. She says, Thin Man is great stuff. It really is. If you haven't seen the Thin Man movies, you should watch them. Icus80 writes, Crowder is the best. Well, thanks a lot, man. No, but I agree, actually. Crowder is fantastic. Shapiro's fantastic. Obviously, Jordan Peterson's my favorite, but all the intellectual dark web guys. I think they're just awesome. Let's see. Dicium Theolusian writes, Roger Stone did a lot of dirty things, and they didn't catch him for. I agree that they're dirty. Are they illegal? I don't know. I mean, you gotta do something illegal for people to catch you. Proud Patriot writes, life's a bitch. Don't vote for one Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton. Don't vote for one. I get it. Life's a bitch. Don't vote for one. Yeah, that's also a great T-shirt. Yeah, you should just go into the T-shirt business. Roland59 wrote, Mr. Reagan is the best. Well, thank you so much, Roland. You're great. Let's see. Ian Fidalgo writes, Crowder-Reagan collab? I would absolutely love that. He's bigger than me. So this is how I look at myself in the hierarchy of, conservative YouTubers. I think that there's sort of professional guys, and then there's amateur guys, right? And there's a ton of amateur guys, and there's just a few professional guys. And I think that I'm kind of at the top of the amateur crowd. I do not consider myself part of the sort of top group. I don't consider myself part of the professionals like Crowder and Ben Shapiro and those guys. Let's see here. Lisa Clemens writes, Shapiro is brilliant. Total Recast writes, Hillary won't run again. I don't think she will either. He also writes, Biden won't run again. I agree with that as well. Let's see. Brady, when is Hillary going to jail? I don't think she's ever going to jail. I think the deep state's got her back, and I don't think it's ever going to happen. Let's see here. A lot of compliments. Thank you, everybody. Yeah, Robert Elliott. Mr. Reagan tore down the Berlin Wall. I did with my bare hands. I actually have a piece of the Berlin Wall. I used to work at Warner Brothers as a production assistant, and they had this big chunk of the Berlin Wall, and people would go over and chip pieces off so they'd have a little piece of the Berlin Wall. The people at Warner Brothers were kind of getting annoyed that people were chipping off their little block of the Berlin Wall, so they gave everybody like a piece of Berlin Wall under glass, and I gave it to my dad. It's on my dad's desk over in Salem, Oregon. Brian Elliott writes, we got to get Mr. Trump to be a top guy, or Mr. Trump, we got to get Mr. Reagan to be a top guy. I agree. I should be a top guy. Somebody wrote, Diane Merwin writes, Ben Shapiro, who? No, I said Posse writes, Shapiro shouldn't punch right. Well, I tell you what, I'm kind of on the fence about that, because I also don't think that he should give Trump so much crap, because I think he gives Trump crap unjustly. That's my problem with Ben Shapiro. I don't mind him giving him crap just on principle. I don't mind punching right a little bit, as long as you genuinely feel like people on the right have made a mistake, right? And we should always discuss that, and we should come up with the truth and the right solution. But just being against Trump because you're, feeling ornery that day, that's not cool. All right, Proud Patriot writes, my political YouTube channel, I'm starting my political YouTube channel soon. Any advice? Yeah, I definitely have advice. Get one of these. This is, see here, I'm gonna focus. That is called a Blue Yeti, okay? This is a kind of microphone that pretty much all the YouTubers have, and anyone in Hollywood who does their own voiceover auditions, we all have these. And I would also suggest getting a Sony camera. The Sony Alpha 5100 is the cheapest camera in the line of awesome Sony cameras that Sony produces that you can use for this kind of stuff. Now, you can use all kinds of cameras. There's all kinds of really good cameras. I love the Sonys. That's my thing. I got the Sony A7 III is the camera that I have. And you also need really good lenses. Lenses are important. Okay, let's see here. The Hype writes, Hillary Clinton destroying America since 1993. We just keep getting T-shirt slogans. I love it. What is the Matrix? Just wrote, I just bought a Yeti. Good job, man. Total Recast writes, Shapiro is a perfectionist, elitist narcissist. That's probably true. He'd probably agree with you. Let's see here. Suzanne Caroline writes, when I learned Shapiro didn't vote, he lost all credibility with me. Now, that's a tricky thing to say, because if you don't live in a swing state, it's actually true that your vote doesn't count. Now, I do vote, but I do know that living in California, it's a bit of, I'm just kind of throwing my vote away because I'm in a leftist state. I'm in a solidly leftist state. So if you're in a solidly left or a solidly right state, your vote really doesn't count. You have to be in a swing state for it to potentially matter, I think. I really think that. Misanthropia Shall Fall writes, why is there blood when I wipe? I don't know, but you should get that checked out. That's disturbing. Okay. Honest Abe wrote, YouTube crushed my channel. YouTube is kind of going after my channel too. A lot of my newer videos are getting demonetized, and they're not getting demonetized right away. So I don't think that there is some kind of algorithm that's decoding what I'm saying on my channel, finding keywords, and then demonetizing it because of that. I think somebody is like seeing my videos and deciding, okay, these are conservative. I think that the Gillette parodies exposed me too much. I think the people at YouTube have figured out that there is another conservative YouTube out there, and they are trying to demonetize me, which is a humongous problem. Hold on, I've got a phone call. It might be my rug. Oh yeah, it's from Santa Barbara. Hey. Yeah. Okay, that's great. I can't come downstairs because I'm in the middle of a live stream. Can you bring it up to my apartment? Can you park? Can you find a place to park? So you got to keep your car running? You've got to keep your car running? Oh my God. Okay. All right. All right. I'll be down in 5 minutes. Okay. Look at that. I don't know why. I don't know. She hired. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I was gonna get the rug. My girlfriend did it. This is a big disaster, so I'm going to have to go. But let me read a couple more things. We'll end the live stream, and that'll be that. Okay, let's see here. Not an NPC writes, you have a great commentator voice. If you already do that, awesome. I don't do any professional commentator stuff. I do some voiceover stuff. I'm in a couple of video games. They're not very good, so I won't recommend them. But let's see here. Erica Approved. Let's see here. Erica Approved writes, it seemed like the Democrats' response to the SOTU was completely detached from reality. It was like really bad. You know what? I only listened to a little bit of it, but it seemed like typical, leftist emotional ploys, right? They were basically trying to get people to sympathize with them and to hate Trump. And it just there wasn't anything that I heard that was very legitimate, rational, factual. But I have to watch the whole thing, and I'll give a full review of that very, very soon. Okay, hold on. I got a couple more things here. Proud Patriot writes, thoughts on Islam? My goat is worried. Two of my best friends were actually raised Muslim, so I don't have quite the same antipathy as a lot of conservatives have about Islam. Although obviously this is we have different values than a lot of people that come from Islamic countries. And we do need to protect people from that. And it's weird to me that the left just ignores that reality. AJ writes, rename your channel to TYT and you won't be demonetized. Yeah, funnily enough, I have a video called the Racist History of the Republican Party. And that wasn't demonetized, even though that's a pretty strong attack on Republicans. At the end of the video, I give the entire history of the Democratic Party, and I say it's the Republicans. So I'm like, the Democratic Party, or the Republican Party started with, started a long time ago. Andrew Jackson was a big Republican. I was like, then the Democrats came out with Abe Lincoln, and they fought the evil Republicans, and they have a civil war and all this kind of stuff. I give the whole history of the country, but I reversed the parties, and then at the end I say, it's opposite day. I don't know if I told you guys it's opposite day. So that was kind of a fun one to make. But that one didn't get me demonetized. That one was fine. They love that. Oh yeah, I can call the Republicans racist. That's perfectly fine. Come on. I mean, to me, that should be the only video that I've made that's demonetized. Let's see here. Rugs are fake news. All right, I gotta go get my rug, guys. I'm so sorry. I gotta hang up here, but it has been awesome. I loved the State of the Union address. I'm gonna watch the commentary of the other guys, and yeah. So have a good night, and I gotta shut this down. All right. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more like this, please subscribe. And if you hate me, you're probably Nancy Pelosi. All right, talk to you later, guys. Good night.